Recruitment season, India's best placement preparation provider, extended lockdown online training webinar series. And I am John C. joining with you today on day 3 sentence completion. Today we are going to see tips and tricks that will help you crack any kind of sentence completion questions in your placement exams. So, like the previous session, this session is loaded and packaged with the previous year question papers, that is the top company question papers like Wipro, CTS, Infosys, TCS, Mindtree, etc. So stay tuned till the end of the session. Keep practicing with me, and trust me, it will really help you a lot. So without further ado, let us move into today's agenda, and let's see what are the topics that we will be covering today. Number 1, in today's agenda, we are going to see sentence completion and the types, purpose of sentence completion, how do you solve a sentence completion questions, and vocabulary coaching. Most of the students find it very difficult to, get maximum marks in sentence completion because of the lack in vocabulary. It is impossible for a human being to completely remember the whole English dictionary in your mind. So I have a few tricks that will really help you to understand the meaning, if not at least approximately guess the right meaning of the word that is given. In the end, we will be seeing the vocabulary part and how to learn it. And after that, we do have practice exercises as well. So let's move into the next part, sentence completion. And before that, I have to tell you, sentence completion is a very part in your placement papers. Almost all the companies have sentence completion in it. It is very hard to find a company that does not ask you sentence completion questions in the placement exam question paper. So you have to be very careful and more prudent in solving sentence completion questions. So what is one or more sentences are given to you? A part of the sentence is removed, that is, it is left blank. What you have to do is, you have to read through the options and guess what would be probably the right answer. So these blanks can be one blank or two blanks or more than two blanks given to you. So I'm reiterating this to you. A sentence is given or more than one sentences are given and blanks are left. A few words are removed from it. One or few words are removed from it. You have to go to this and choose the word that actually fits in the sentence and mark it. This is sentence completion. Clear? So, types of sentence completion. So when we say sentence completion, it is of various types, and I'm going to clearly discuss them with you. And the first type is double fillers. Double fillers are nothing but two sentences are given, or one single long sentence is given, which is mostly a complex sentence, and blanks are given. Words are removed from it, and in the options you have the words given in pairs. The first blank, the first word fills the first blank. Second word fills second blank in the option. So you have to read through it very carefully and find out the words that fit in the sentence and then mark the answer. The second one is more than two blank type. Generally, people misunderstand test. This is not closed test. Closed test is something where a whole paragraph is taken and words are removed from it in a particular manner so that the paragraph is not lost. You will still be able to understand the meaning of the paragraph, but you will have to look for the right word from the options given. For each blank and fill it. That is closed test. But more than two blanks type is where you have three blanks or four blanks. But most of the companies, generally, you do not have these type of questions asked in your general placement placement preparation papers. And what you have to focus on is the double fillers and then fillers. Single fillers are nothing but one sentence is given, a single blank is created in the sentence. One filler, you have to look at the options, take one filler and complete the sentence. So these are the three types of sentence completion questions: single fillers, double fillers, more than two blanks type questions. Okay, so now let's see an example in single fillers and double fillers. Starting with single fillers. Look at the questions. As elections for the state assemblies that evening, 5 exit polls predicted that BJP would come to power in both the states. So let's see the options for this. Number 1, examined, promised, referred, concluded, and answer. So in single filler, like you can see, there is one blank in the sentence. You have to go through the options and fill it with the right word. Now, let's see what is the right answer. Reading both the clauses of the sentence, that is, reading the whole sentence, you can come to a conclusion that this happened in the past. So how do you come to a conclusion that this happened in the past? The words like predicted. Predicted is in past. Would come is also in past. So the tense, you can come to a conclusion that this is. So when something happens in simple past tense, the verb is in second form. So with this, what are the options that you can exclude for an answer? They are just in a simple present tense and they are not in past. So C and E can be excluded in this. Now coming to the next one. The second part of the sentence clearly says that the prediction of exit polls, which simply means that the election is already over. It's already done. Elections has been conducted already. So what could be the right concluded? Clear? This is how you solve a sentence completion questions. I know I have spoken a lot in this, but then when we go to the tips and tricks of solving sentence completion, you will be able to understand this in a much better way. So now let us see double fillers. The student was fairly dash of passing, yet previous experiences with this teacher left him dash. So here you have one sentence. Two blanks are created. You have to choose the words and fill it in the blank. Generally, in every option given, the first word fills the first blank and the second word fills the second blank. Okay, let's see the options now. Uncertain, confused. Certain, confident. Uncertain, confident, certain. So like the previous question, the clue lies in the sentence. What is the clue here? Yet. Yet in the sentence is a contrast indicator, which means the first part of the sentence is in contrast with the second, and vice versa. So first word should be a positive word, or even if it's a negative word, the second word should be in contrast with it. So in that way, what do we have here? Confident and uncertain. Option C. The student was fairly confident of passing, yet previous experiences with the teacher left him uncertain. Clear? We are not going to see about more than two fillers, because you don't get that type of questions in your placement. Close test will be covered later on. So now, what is the purpose of sentence correction? Its purpose is to check your versatility with the vocabulary. See, in the previous example, yet is one simple word, but you should be able to understand that yet is used for contrast. So what is your versatility with vocabulary? How far are you able to guess the meaning, and how are you able to apply that meaning in a sentence and check it? Check your comprehending skills. So when you read the sentence, you have the meaning, only then you will be able to grasp the clue from it. So comprehending skills are tested, and to check how well you can apply the data. So now you have understood the meaning, and now with the understood meaning, what are you going to do? How are you going to apply? That is what is checked in sentence question. So steps to do sentence completion. Number 1. Read to understand. The first thing that you have to do is read to understand it. Look out for the clues. The clues are in the sentence, so you have to look out for it very carefully. Do the elimination. So when you have to eliminate it. Apply and check the answer. Once you have the answer, once you have concluded on the answer, write back in the sentence and see if it is matching it. So now coming to the part read to understand. You have to understand why you have to read the sentence very carefully. The meaning of the sentence and the tone in which it is spoken when checking the punctuation and the tense of the sentence. So sometimes the comma, the semicolon helps you understand a lot of things about the sentence. So reading it and trying to come to a grip on the tone of the sentence will help you. In most cases, just by reading the sentence to find the answer. It's very important to read the sentence word by word before coming to a conclusion. See, only by reading it, we were able to find that yet is a contrast indicator, and based on the yet, we came to a conclusion. So in a similar way, it is very important for you to read the sentence word by word before coming to a conclusion. Reading the sentence has a lot of benefits which we have discussed. It helps you to judge if the sentence is positive or negative. So, but just by understanding if the sentence tone is positive, you will be able to eliminate a lot of options. If the sentence is a negative sentence, you can easily eliminate the positive words. Sentence is very important. See, on the first example that we saw in the single filler, how did we come to a conclusion? Based on the tense of the sentence. The first elimination that we did happened only based on the tense of the sentence. So understanding the tense, judging the tense will help you. Meaning of the sentence is the clue. I'm reiterating this back to you. Meaning of the sentence is the clue. So any option that you take and put it back in the blank, the meaning of the sentence should remain the same. Since the meaning shouldn't change. So if the meaning of the sentence is changing, then the choice that you have taken is not right. So now let us come to the next point, look out for clues. How do you look out for clues? In a sentence, where are the clues actually? How do you come to a conclusion? Tense. Like in the first example, with tense, you can do a lot of elimination. If the sentence is in present tense, eliminate the past tense. So number one, look out for the tense. Number two, modifiers. What are modifiers? If you remember from the last session, modifiers are generally adjectives. If the word after the blank is a verb, you cannot put an adjective there. After the blank is a noun, you cannot put an adverb there. So it is simple. Modifiers add to the meaning of the sentence, and based on these modifiers, you can easily land in the option. Tone of the sentence. If the sentence is a question mark, based on that you can eliminate a lot of options. Sometimes the sentence is reported speech. Sometimes the sentence is in passive voice. So based on all these, based on the tone of the sentence, can eliminate the unwanted options and then cut down and come down to the most suitable options, and from that we can move on to the final answer. Contrast indicators. What are contrast indicators? Indicators are nothing but these show that the first part of the sentence and the next part of the sentence are opposite, are in contrast. For example, words like yet, whereas. So these are all contrast indicators. Next is support indicators. What are support indicators? The first part of the sentence and the second part of the sentence, if they are joined by support indicators, it means the first part of the sentence is supported by the later part, or the later part is supported by the first part. So let's see some examples of support indicators. Words like, similar to, similarly. So these are all support. Cause and effect indicators. If something is happening in the first part of the sentence and the cause of that event is in the second part of the sentence, or there's something happening in the first part which is in part. So these are called as cause and effect indicators. Say for example, Manoj came late to the class because it was raining. Over here, Manoj coming late to the class is an incident or an event, and the cause of it is raining. Let me give you one more example. This time I'm giving it for the effect. The boy running to school, and because of this, he fainted. So coming school has affected the boy and he has fainted. So this is cause and effect. So now let's come to practice exercise. The first one. The Supreme Court dashed the way for reconstruction of temple of Guru Ramdas at the same place where Ravidas temple in August. I'm reading the question for you once more. The Supreme Court dashed the way for the reconstruction of Guru Ramdas at the same place where a Ravidas temple was demolished in August. So what are your options? Discussed, paved, fined, downturned. So what could be possible? What could be the possible answer for it? I'll wait for 10 seconds. You can comment the answers and what do you think could be the possibly the right answer for this question? Your time starts now. Done. So now let's see the answer. This indicates the confirmation of the way for reconstruction of the sentence. This of the temple. Sorry, this is the meaning of the sentence. It's confirming that a temple can be constructed. It is easy for you to understand the meaning of decline, discussed, find. But where do you get stuck? Paved. What is the meaning of paved? Confirmed. Downturn is decline. So downturn, decline can be rejected, eliminated, because the meaning of the sentence changes when you put this. So what is the possible answer? Paved. Clear? So now from the questions that is coming, maybe the next 4 questions is completely based on the clues. For clues, we saw a few topics there, and for each sentence I'll give you 15. So what I want you to do is read the sentence very carefully, try to understand the meaning of it, and from there try to eliminate the options and settle down in one particular option. Okay, so now let's in, and your time starts now. Time up. In about 10 days, the IT Act has detected respondents globally are dash and for their later life. Hardly saving, regularly putting, constantly setting, continuously debating, diligently, meticulously. So let's see the answer. So what does the contest talk about? What does the sentence talk about? It talks about the sentence for their retirement age. And it also has a comparison of Indians with the global scenario in terms of their savings. So Indian people saving scenario is compared to something that is global. So now we have understood the meaning of the sentence clearly, right? So now let's start reading the options and understanding it. So coming to option A, B is still okay for the first blank. But savings are saving anything. Saving over here, when filled in the second blank, becomes grammatically incorrect. Okay? Because the tense of the sentence and the grammar over here is a question mark. Now coming to option C. Option C is also not correct because the second word is not perfect for the blank, second blank. D can also be eliminated in the same way because it's not suitable for the second blank. E is also not correct. Again over here, the second word is not correct for the second blank. What is left? Because both the words perfectly fit. So now let's come back. Only a third in Indian are regularly saving, are regularly saving for their retirement, while 33% of working age respondents globally are putting anything aside for their later life. Time starts now. Okay. If you look at the number of districts, then the areas under the dash of left-wing extremism have shrunk dash 40% in the last 3 years. What are your options? Existence with, ecstasy about, influence by, confidence of, installation about. So, better conclusion this time. So, what is the solution to this? This is regarding the influence of left-wing extremism in India in the last 3 years, in which it has seen a downfall. What in a downfall? The left-wing extremism has seen a downfall. So among the given options, A is not correct since existent does not fit in the context and can be said about the second word also. Both the words are seen not to fit in the blanks perfectly. B is not correct because both the words again they don't fit in the options. D and E again have the same problem. So now what is it with C? C actually sticks on to the meaning that is intended in the sentence. It explains the meaning that the number of districts affected by left-wing extremism has decreased in the last few years. So now let's see. If you look at the number of districts, then the areas under the influence of left-wing extremism have shrunk by more than 40% in the last 3 years. Clear? That extremism is not a very good thing. The sentence has a negative comment on extremism. So existence, ecstasy, confidence, installation, these are all positive words. And the prepositions coming along with this also don't match with shrunk. And one other I can possibly give for this is when you use words like existence, ecstasy, confidence, installation, the meaning of the sentence is lost. So all the other options can be eliminated and we can stick only to option C. So now coming to the next one, and your time starts now. Okay. Chaotic traffic has become the dash of the day at major junctions in Puducherry, thanks to poor traffic management, dash of police personnel, and disregard of rules by motorists and vehicle owner. I'm reading the sentence again. Try to comprehend the meaning of it. Chaotic traffic has become the dash of the day at major junctions in Puducherry, thanks to the poor traffic management, dash posting of police personnel, and disregard of rules by motorists, and the options given: dynamics frequent, diabolical often, order inadequate, access uncontrollable, attention unassailable. So, what is the right option? They say option C is the right option here. It is clear that the given sentence is talking about how chaotic in Puducherry is. What are the reasons? Poor traffic management, and people like in motorists and vehicle drivers, they don't respect the traffic rules. So words in the blank should also reflect the same meaning. A is not correct because both the words don't fit into the context. Dynamics, frequent. If there is frequent posting of police personnel, then there wouldn't be traffic mismanagement. B, D, E also have the same problem. Diabolical and again often is the problem in B. Uncontrollable police personnel is again wrong, it changes the meaning. Unassailable. Again, though attention may seem right, unassailable changes the meaning and it isn't in the most suitable word list. So what is it? Becomes the order of the day. Inadequate posting of police personnel. Only when the police allocated for traffic management is inadequate, it becomes very hard and almost impossible for one to control the traffic. So now let's move on to the next part, that is learning of vocabulary. We move into vocabulary. I would like you to let me give you 10 seconds of time and contemplate and comment where do you think is your vocabulary? Is it good, or is it average, or is it really bad? So let me give you 10 seconds in it. Okay, so I can see that the answers you have given is a mixed bunch. Some of you feel that your vocabulary is really good. Some of you might feel that it is very bad. And some of you say, okay, I'm an average speaker. I wouldn't say I'm too great, but then I'm not too bad also. Do not worry, no matter where you are. This trick that I'm going to teach you will really help you a lot in remembering and reciprocating the vocabulary. So sentence completion has vocabulary based question that I have already told you. And see, in the practice questions, we did 5 practice questions, and almost in every practice question, you would have found it difficult to crack the meaning of the words given to you. So without vocabulary, cracking sentence completion becomes very hard. Percentage of the questions are dependent on vocabulary. Most of the time, we lose the marks due to misinterpretation of the words. We feel that that might be the right meaning, but it is not. It is not possible to master all the words in English. It is practically impossible for someone to remember every word, usage, and meaning of it from A to Z in English dictionary. And now, I have a few tips that will help you to crack the difficult words. So let's move on into the next part. How do you crack unknown words? Number 1, knowing the root word. Every word has a root word. It might be Latin, it might be Greek, or it might be any language. Some words have Indian base as well. So every word has a root word. So based on the root words, it is possible for one to create so many hundreds of words from the base word. So making sure or understanding the meaning of the root word will help you crack most of the words easily. So what do you do after knowing the words? You break it. After knowing the root word, you take a word, you break it into pieces and see how you can derive the answer. Okay. Or say, for example, let's take biology. Bio means life. Ology is study. So study on life is biology. Where is life? Life is in animals and plants. So study of life, that is animals and plants, is biology. See how easy it is. So next, what do? After guessing the word, you take it back, apply it in the sentence like I told you earlier, and check if your guessing of the meaning is right, or if the word is actually fitting in the sentence or the question given to you. So now let's see, break the words to get the meaning. Now let's see the first word, nar. Nar, what is the meaning of nar? Is to tell. So based on that, what two words are we able to create? Narrate, narrator. Narrate is to say. Narrator is someone who says. Okay. Now let's come on to the next word. Multi means many. So this root word is in English. So multi means many. So multitask, many tasks. Multilingual, lingual is language. Multi, many, many languages. Multinational, national means nation. Multi means many, many nations. So see, you have one base word, the root word. You understand the meaning of it, and based on that, you will be able to crack of unknown words very easily. Let's move on. Semi. What is semi? Half. So what are the words that you can make from it? Semiconductor, half conductor. Semicircle, circle in half. Semicircle, semiconductor. Now look at the next word, un. The meaning of this root word is not. It has a negative meaning. Readable, not readable. Uneatable, not eatable. Okay. So un means not. So based on that, see, when you see un, you know it is not and it has a negative meaning. And using the second part of the word, you will be able to get into a proper conclusion. So let us go through the 4 words once again. Nar means to tell. Narrate, narrator. Multi means many. Multitask, multitasking, multilingual. Semi is half, semiconductor, semicircle. Un means not, unreadable, uneatable. So when you go into learning the root words, you will need a proper material for that. You can just by typing it, root words in English PDF, you will have a bunch of all the root words in it. These root words might come to 53. Generally, the most important root words in English are 53. Based on that, you can develop a lot of words from that. You can just Google or download the PDFs and go ahead. So now next, after the understanding the root words, where do we come? We try to match the word and the sentence. So why is it so important? Why is matching the word and the sentence very important? Now let's see an example here. Look at this highlighted word. The reports say India received scanty rainfall this year, which caused drought in the country. Rare, heavy, little, scattered. India received rare rainfall, heavy rainfall, little rainfall, scattered rainfall. All of them are correct. But what does scanty mean actually? Small or insufficient. So what could be the possible word? Scattered rainfall. So when does drought happen? Drought happens only when the rainfall is very less and it is scattered, which means one particular area does not receive good rainfall. So see, matching the word with the sentence helps you come to a better conclusion. So we have finally reached the practice questions. So like I told you, each question given here is taken from the previous year question papers of many companies. So please spend better time, quality time in cracking this. So for each question from now on, I will be giving you 20 seconds. So based on those 20 seconds, after 20 seconds, we will discuss the answer. Okay, your time starts now. So each question has a sentence with 2 blanks followed by 4 pairs of words. From the choices, you have to select the word that can best complete the given sentence. So this question that we are going to see is from Infosys, previous year Infosys question paper. So please do give attention. And your time starts now, 20 seconds. Let's see the answer. To pass the dash money at bank as if it were dash. Stolen, illegitimate, bogus, genuine, collected, supplied, ill-gotten, legitimate. The word as if is a statement. So based on the structure, it clearly shows that the words that fit in the bank is contrasting. Bogus money means fake money. Can be passed as legitimate. The words stolen and illegitimate, collected and ill-gotten and legitimate, they are not contradictory and does not make sense over here. The right answer is legitimate. See, all the other are somewhat coming together except one option. So the right option over here is right to pass the bogus money at the bank as if it were genuine. Clear? Now let's move on to the next question. Again, I'll be giving you 20 seconds for this. Okay, time up. This question is from a Wipro, as you can make it out from the question. The two countries must dash the resolve to walk the path of dialogue and peace, sidelining the extremist elements who have a vested interest in dash fires between India and Pakistan. I am reading the question so that you will be able to understand the meaning of it. The two countries must dash the resolve to walk the path of dialogue and peace, sidelining the extremist elements who have a vested interest in dash the fires between India and Pakistan. So from this, what meaning can you make out? The sentence is talking that two countries, mainly India and Pakistan, that is mentioned over there, come together in dialogue and peace. Sidelining means pushing away the extremist elements that they have. These extremists do what impact they have. They try to set fire between India and Pakistan. What are the options we have here? Declare, burning. Demonstrate, stoking. Influence, igniting. Establish, raging. Over here, you might feel that all the options have the same meaning and might fit in the, but let's see. The word stoking is the only possible word for the second blank. To stoke the fire means what? To encourage it. Although the words like burning, igniting, racing may seem right, but the words declare, influence and establish that come along with them do not gel with the word resolve. You don't declare to resolve something, or resolve and influence don't make sense. So does establish and resolve. So the first half of the sentence is about resolving the situation between two parties. So now let's come back to the option. The two countries must demonstrate the resolve. Demonstrate is what? Show example, set example. The two countries must demonstrate the resolve to walk the path of dialogue and peace, sidelining the extremist element who have a vested interest in stoking the fires between India and Pakistan. So only the extremist elements, they want to, encourage and keep the fire burning between India and Pakistan is the meaning of the sentence. So the right option is demonstrate and stoking. See, in these questions, I want you to very carefully look at the way I'm eliminating the options. The options is the main trick in solving sentence completion. If you have 4 options given to you, you should at least be able to eliminate 2 of it. Only then landing on the right option will be easy for you. I want you to look and understand the way I'm eliminating the options here. So now let's move on to the next question. Complete the following by selecting appropriate word from the given choices. So this is a single filler question and your time starts now. Time up. This is not the first time that militants have resorted to violence and force its will. This is not the first time that militants have resorted to violence and dash to force its will. So what does this mean? The militants have already used violence and some other negative form to ensure that what they wish happens. Subterfuge, literacy, jargon, penalty. Which means deceit, used in order to achieve one's goal. Now coming back, violence and literacy don't make sense. Violence and jargon, again, jargon is complex, don't make sense. Violence and penalty cannot come together. A punishment. How can violence and punishment come together? Militants can't punish us. They only can deceive us. They can trick us into doing what they want. So violence and subterfuge is the right answer over here. Let's move on to the next question. This is from CTS. There are 2 gaps in each of the following sentences. From the parts of the words given below, choose the one that fills the gaps. Most appropriate word in the pair should fill the first gap. Your question and your answer. And your time starts now. Time up. Only when we are in the midst of dash does the shallowness of much of our lives becomes dash, and we start making connections with force that empowers our faith. I'm reading it again. Only when we are in the midst does the shallowness of much of our lives becomes dash. We start making connections with the invisible force that empowers. So what is the meaning of the sentence? The meaning of the sentence says that in the midst of some negativity or some sorrow or distress, we understand how shallow our life is. Shallow is not of much depth. So then what do? We go back to the invisible force which drives our faith. We make connection with it. We try to make our life more deeper and try to find some comfort there. So what are your options? Incongruity, palpable. Accord, ostensible. amenity, ambiguous, mysterious, plausible. So here it is you to recollect the meaning of incongruity, ostensible, amenity, ambiguous, armistice, plausible, palpable. Most of you would have guessed the meaning. So let's see how elimination is done here. Option here clearly says fits in the sentence and tells us that the user time starts now. Time up. If politicians were to rise above interest and agree to exclude creamy layer from quota, at least for this session, it would dash their standoff with the judiciary. So what are your options? Paltry, uphold, importance, obscure, insular, embolden, parochial, resolve. So reading the question once more. If politicians were to raise above their address and agree to exclude creamy layer from the quota, at least for this session, it would dash their standoff via with the judiciary. And your options are paltry, uphold, cosmopolitan, obscure, insular, embolden, parochial, and resolve. So what is the solution? The sentence is if the politicians rise above their measly benefits, that is, their benefits that they receive from the OBC votes, their differences with the judiciary opinion which can be resolved. So option A is incorrect as up it or strengthen it. And option B is also incorrect because both the words changes the meaning of the sentence. C, embolden, is incorrect again. So option D, wide interest, gives a wrong meaning. What could be the possible answer? Insular and embolden. Okay. So now coming to the next question. And your time starts now. Excuse me. Robert Williams' style of writing has an air of dash. Just when you think the storyline is dash, he suddenly takes a different direction. Although this is often the mark of a beginner, Williams pulls it off masterfully. So, what is the meaning of the sentence? I'm reading it to understand it better. Robert Williams' style of writing has an air of dash. Just when you think the storyline is dash, he suddenly takes a different direction. Although this is often the mark of a beginner, Williams pulls it off. So, what are their options? Outlandishness, foreseeable. Impulsivity, denied. Whimsicality, predictable. Capriciousness, predictable. So, what is the meaning of the sentence? Robert Williams has a style of writing which is really great. What is great about it? Once you try to guess the next part of the story, he takes a different directions, and for you to guess the story becomes very difficult. So, for possible answer, the answer is fourth option. The words foreseeable, able to foresee or predict. Denied is doubtful. And so, option 2 and 3 are inappropriate. They change the meaning. Option 1 is denied, which again does not make sense. So, what is the most possible one? Cautiousness, predictable. So, some see, like I told you, in most of these cases, it becomes very difficult for you to understand the meaning of the sentence and to guess the meaning of it, because the vocabulary is only by learning and to master the vocabulary based on the root words, you'll be able to crack these questions easily. Now, coming to the meaning of it, what is capriciousness? Capriciousness is to give a sudden change in the mood or behavior. So, Robert Williams' style of writing has an air of capriciousness. Just when you think the storyline is predictable, he suddenly takes a different direction. Clear? Let's move on to the next question. And your time starts now. Time up. The Great Depression caused him to always be economic. His voice was unintentionally preaching or didactic. So the answer is didactic of frugality and frugality. So now let's come read the question again. Dash tone of voice may have been unintentional, yet Chris's grandfather could never discuss money without expounding on the Great Depression, which had instilled in him an eternal dash. What is the meaning of the sentence? It says that the person who's talking may have, which might not be very intentional. But who is this person? Chris's grandfather. Chris's grandfather cannot talk about money without recollecting his bad experiences in the Great Depression, that is the Great Famine. So, what has this done to Chris's grandfather? It has caused in him great fear or suffering. Okay, so his didactic, what does didactic mean? Preaching. He doesn't want to preach, but then he ends up preaching because there is some fear in it, fear in his heart because of the depression. So all the other options, patronizing, annoying, pompous is self-important. So all these words do not fit into the meaning of the sentence. The only word that fits, what is didactic? Tone of preaching. Okay, his didactic tone of voice may have been unintentional, yet Chris's grandfather never discussed money without expounding on the Great Depression, which had instilled in him an eternal frugality. Sentence. The time starts now. Campers heard the booming thunder and took as an dash of what? A surprising departure from the weatherman's dash forecast. Reading it again for you. Campers heard the booming and took it as dash of what lie ahead, a surprising departure from the weatherman's dash forecast. So what are the options? omnispotent, optimistic, empty threat, gloomy, welcome promise, customary, fortunate prediction, uncertain. What could be the explanation? The use of surprising departure indicates that the forecast would have been good. So, should be the second word. The booming thunder could have been taken as an omnispotent. So, the answer is omnis and optimistic. So, let's come back to the question. Campus, the blooming thunder, and it took it as an omnispotent. Of what lie ahead, a surprising departure from Weatherman's optimistic forecast. So now I want you to tell me the meaning of omnispotent. Comment down and I'll tell you if your answer is right or wrong. Moving on to the next question. The time starts now. Time up. Unlike her dash mother, Tabitha was able to plan the wedding. So what is the meaning? Tabitha is unlike her mother, able to plan the wedding. So what are the options given? Tranquil, serene, annoying, crazy, stoic, frantic, difficult, enraged. So I want you to guess the meaning of the word tranquil. So coming to the solution, the keyword unlike means that both the blanks should be opposite. So unlike over here is contrast indicator. In option A, both the words are similar. Option B and D, they don't fit in the context. Option C, the words are opposite in meaning. So what is not to show feelings? Frantic is out of control because of extreme emotion. So fill it in here. Unlike her stoic mother, stoic mother means she has a good control over her emotions and does not let her emotions take over. Tabitha was frantic. What is frantic? To react due to emotions. So Tabitha reacted frantically to her struggle in planning the wedding. Unlike her stoic mother, Tabitha was frantic in her struggle to plan the wedding. So your next question and starts now. Your answer. The key word of the sentence word is though. Now let's come back to the question. Organization of the party was dash. It ended in a dash. So it means that the first blank is again in contract. Second blank, which means though over here is a what? Contrast indicator. Ingenious means creative. Fiasco means disaster. So though the organization party was ingenious, it ended in a complete failure, that is fiasco. The next question. The wall and door decorations created by Indian housewives are usually dash, remaining hours, days, most weeks before being worn off by human activity or weather and replaced by new dash. Perennial, ephemeral designs, trivial purchases, impermanent furnishings. Decorations remain only for the short time. So it makes sense they are ephemeral and that they are worn off or replaced by new decorations. Perennial means lasting 3 years, means short lived. Trivial is unimportant, impermanent is temporary. So even though impermanent fits the first blank, furnishing is wrong for the second blank. So the right answer is ephemeral and designs. Next question. The conclusion of his argument, while dash is far from dash, stimulating, interesting, worthwhile, valueless, esoteric, abstruse, incomprehensible. What is a solution? Far from indicates that that there is a need for an opposite word. So while the conclusion is abstruse, obscure, or difficult to comprehend, it is not totally incomprehensible. So the right answer is abstruse and incomprehensible. The conclusion of his argument, while abstruse, is far from incomprehensible. Okay, clear? Next. Our present accountant is most dash. Unlike the previous dash incumbent, he has never made a mistake in all the years that he has worked for the firm. Unorthodox, heretical, dependable, assiduous, punctilious, painstaking, meticulous, unreliable. Unlike indicates that the two men are opposites. The present accountant has never made a mistake and he is indispensable, punctilious or meticulous, whereas the previous one was unreliable. Thus, the choice for the second blank fixes the one for the first blank. So, what is the right answer? Unreliable. Johnson was such an outstanding orator that his contemporaries were too dazzled by his dash to question his fundamental philosophy, persona, guile, enthusiasm, rhetoric. The word orator tells that Johnson was a speaker. It is likely that people are dazzled by his speaking. So the right answer is rhetoric because it's asked of persuasive speaking. In the Middle Ages, the dash of the great cathedrals did not enter into the architect's plan. Almost invariably, a cathedral was positioned haphazardly in dash surroundings. Options: situation incongruous, location apt, ambience salubrious, durability convenient. So here the semicolon states that the second part of the sentence is supporting this first part. So the second part tells us what we are talking about, the cathedral. Since the first part tells us the architects did not pay attention to the situation, the cathedral was positioned randomly in odd surroundings, not matching. So what could be the right answer? Situation incongruous. What is the meaning of incongruous? Not matching. So in the Middle Ages, the situation of the cathedrals did not enter into the architect's plan. Almost invariably, a cathedral was positioned haphazardly in incongruous surroundings. Now we have come to the end of the webinar. Thank you for actively participating. So in this lockdown, we have given a new plan called as the COVID preparation lockdown plan, and please make use of it, and it will help. I hope this session was of great use to you. I'm happy that all of you have participated well. Thank you. Until I see you next time.